Comparing the military strength of Israel-Iran, which side will win if a conflict breaks out? Rumor has it that Russia has taken control of the entire Ukraine town of Ivanivsk. In the event of a full-blown conflict, what might happen in a war between them? There are always a lot of unknowns in war, and reviews and war games can often be unclear about combat situations, etc. However, there are many details regarding these questions. This can be more or less evaluated. A few years ago, the leader of the Iranian Republican Guard, Major General Hossein Salami, stated that Israel can be blown up in just one operation, which may actually reflect Tehran's intentions on how a conflict could take place. Assuming General Salami's comments do not concern the use of nuclear weapons or involve Iran actually possessing nuclear weapons, they raise questions about force size, tactical proficiency, and weapons related to a potential conflict between the two parties. Duel in the air. The original question was simply one of geography, meaning the prospect of each country successfully attacking the other. Although Iran possesses a number of quite powerful F-14 Tomcat fighters, it is unclear how well maintained they are. The Tomcat possesses high speed but is likely to lose quickly in any aerial confrontation with a fifth-generation aircraft simply because the effective range of its radar and weapons is much less. For example, Israel operates a squadron of fifth-generation F-35 Iadar stealth fighters, capable of gaining air superiority and evading enemy air defense systems. Tehran is known to operate a number of Russian-made air defense systems, but that does not mean they can always detect and destroy Israeli F-35s. In terms of the number of fighter aircraft, Israel has an advantage as it owns 50 more aircraft than its opponent. The GlobalFirepower.com 2023 ranking reports that Iran operates 160 aircraft, compared to Israel's 241. However, the important question here may be related to technology. Israel has the advantage, as a fifth-generation F-35 is said to be capable of using long-range, high-precision targeting sensors and advanced weapons to destroy large numbers of generational aircraft. The fourth is much larger. Any quick analysis of available weapons and technology shows that Israel is capable of operating with a distinct advantage over its opponents in the air, which will make it very difficult for Iran to make any progress. No longer lasting than a ground attack. The question of enemy air superiority also weighs heavily on the feasibility of Iran being able to launch any form of ground attack on Israel. To reach Israel, Tehran's ground forces would need to go through Turkey or Iraq or somehow traverse the Persian Gulf, all scenarios suggesting their forces would be easily detected and vulnerable to Israeli aerial attacks. Therefore, other than the worrying prospect of Iran acquiring nuclear weapons, there do not seem to be many ways in which it could actually attack Israel with success. Unless, of course, Iran uses covert tactics, which is entirely beyond the realm of possibility. In fact, these types of small-scale, quick covert attacks and quick retreats may be what General Hossein is referring to by implying that some targeted attacks could bring down the enemy. Defeat Israel. However, as in the case of air defense, Israel certainly has the experience and ability to master the tactics of deterrence. Iranian Army. Although Iran, at least on paper, appears to have a larger ground force, especially in terms of tanks and armored vehicles, that does not mean that its ground forces will be on par with Israel's in terms of any aspect. For example, Global Firepower's 2023 military assessment lists Iran as having 4,071 tanks compared to Israel's 2,200. However, having 2,000 more tanks than Israel does not guarantee military superiority if the smaller tank force is equipped with superior sensors, weapons, computing, and targeting. Much superior. This seems true from a quick glance at how Israel's famous and highly regarded Merkava tank compares to Iran's upgraded Soviet-era T-72s. An interesting report in the 21st Century Asian Arms Race said that Iran has German-made Leopard tanks as well as Russian T-90 tanks and even some Abrams tanks of American origin. Iran's first widely reported domestic tank, the Farrar, appeared in recent years, a platform believed to be based on Iran's upgraded T-72S chassis. The Iranian tank, which is said to operate with an electro-optical fire control system, laser rangefinder, and ballistic computer, appears at least superficially to be greatly inferior to the Israeli Merkava. The Merkava is one of the most advanced battle tanks in the world. According to a report in the National Interest, it can carry infantry or wounded soldiers, utilize the rear emergency exit to carry out troop landing operations or safe escapes, and perhaps most importantly, the main gun. It can fire anti-tank missiles. The Merkava also has strike missiles to attack helicopters and other targets, potentially beyond the range of standard tank rounds. Thus, even while operating 2,000 fewer main battle tanks than Iran, Israel could actually operate a far superior ground force. For example, in the famous tank battles of the Gulf War, the advanced thermal sights on American Abrams tanks were able to search, detect, and then destroy Iraqi T-72s before they were encountered. Method of detection. Therefore, a large number of Iraqi tanks were destroyed compared to a very small number of Abrams vehicles. Iran operates nearly 400,000 more troops than Israel, as its total force of 1,015,000 is significantly larger than Israel's reported force of 646,000. However, this difference may not be a significant factor if Iran cannot mount a ground attack and operates a ground force that is much inferior in weaponry and technology. Iran is said to be operating 8,500 armored vehicles, about 1,000 more than Israel. However, like tanks, Israeli armored vehicles are significantly superior to their opponents. Russia controls Pervomaisk, Ukraine is defeated in many places. Military Summary Channel reported that Ukrainian defense forces failed on all fronts, including the loss of Pervomaisk. Moscow forces continuously made new advances as they entered Krasnohorivka from the south and southeast, stepped up their attack on Chasov Yar, and knocked the enemy out of the chalk quarry near Bilohorivka. Syriac Maps Channel confirmed that, in the northwest of the city of Donetsk, the Russian army took full control of the town of Pervomaisk after 18 months of fighting. According to the Rybar channel, significant progress by Moscow forces was recorded in the direction of Donetsk when they officially gained complete control of the village of Pervomaisk. Intense attacks also resumed in Krasnohorivka. Ukraine's Deep State channel confirmed that Moscow forces captured Pervomaisk in the Donetsk region after a year and a half of continuous attacks. Deep State added that Russian troops advanced south of Novokolinovo, east of Umansky, south of Novomykhailovka. Offensive operations continued near Vyemka, Krasnogorovka, Bodianoy, and Robotino. The report reads, the enemy managed to overcome the Ukrainian defense line and completely occupied Pervomaisk. The real battle began in August 2022. The village became one of the hottest spots in this war and made Russia must pay a high price. The defenders also had to pay a heavy price, especially the soldiers of the 59th Ukrainian Mechanized